they're actually the hidden behemoth in the space. Total revenue 23.7 million in the last 30 days, outperforming PancakeSwap. PS ratio of 7.3, PE ratio 73, both declining with 20 or upwards to 22% in the last 30 days. So, welcome everybody again. We're here with Pietro and Shane, our lovely co-host for the crypto game. I know we're calling it a game. I know, Shane, it's more serious than that. But we got to have a name for it. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you so much. And basically, pleasure to be back. Big congratulations to you, Alex. We realized that you've had the birth of your new baby. So respect on that. Many people thought it wasn't going to be possible, but you proved them wrong. I love to see that.
I like also, Shane, for this week, you're a lot more positive in your initial review of what Alex said for the intro. So that's good to see.
I'm going to leave him off this week. I know he's had a lot of late nights and early starts, and it's not because he might have been out under a disco ball. He was actually in hospital and helping out and supporting his fine partner. So we'll leave him off this week, but don't worry, I'll get him next week.
I thank you both for that week of solitude. We're going to jump straight into it. We have 4 projects to rate today, so we're going to get started with one sort of personal favorite, if I might say so. So, Trader Joe, what do we think? In 3, 2, 1, cast your votes. Oh, it's a steady one.
Yeah.
You take the lead.
Good. Okay, so where should we start off here? So initially at SwissBorg Ventures, we saw a predominance of projects that were releasing on the Avalanche chain. Avalanche, the blockchain, quickly becoming one of the biggest ones, both in the DeFi space, but also in terms of attracting a lot of very interesting gaming-related projects. We saw also that their conferences, for example, the one they did in Barcelona, the summit, attracted a lot of people. The community was massive. And if you believe in Avalanche and you believe in the long-term success of this blockchain that has low transaction speeds, very quick speeds compared to, for example, Ethereum, then you should believe in Trader Joe. Trader Joe is right now the biggest decentralized exchange, or one of the top 2 on the Avalanche blockchain. And I'm a firm believer in Avalanche. I always have been. It's one of my, let's say, more favorite blockchains. And therefore, I'm very much in line with Trader Joe. I think it will be one of the biggest DEXs on there, and I believe in the long-term success 100%.
Yeah, well summed up. For those of you who don't know, Trader Joe is a DEX on Avalanche. It offers services including swapping, staking, and of course yield farming. It's very much a kind of a one-stop shop. Great community, over $4 billion of TVL. And I think when you look at the price of Trader Joe, it's about 25 cents as of this morning. It has come down from a high somewhere around the $4 mark, and it does seem to be kind of range bound in the last few months. But I do believe in DEXs. I do believe in Avalanche. I think it moves higher from here aligned with the markets.
This is one of my favorites because, as you know, I look at a bit of the data behind the scenes, and Trader Joe has a PE ratio of 42.4 and a PS ratio of 7. So just to give some more insights on that, the PE ratio is the protocol revenue compared to the circulating supply, and the PS ratio is the circulating supply compared to the total revenue. And it's looking at a 1.4 million in revenue over the last 30 days. Just to give some comparisons, last week we were discussing Pancake's PE ratio is 48 and with a PS ratio of 15. So this got nearly half as much of a PS ratio as PancakeSwap. A lot of people know about PancakeSwap, and not everybody knows about Trader Joe. The numbers are adding up. It's a good, solid project on a good, solid, growing chain. Yeah, it's a long.
If I can add something there at the end, it's also that this is really one of those plays where not a lot of people yet know about Trader Joe. I think it's just slimly in the top 300 in terms of market cap. And if you're already in the crypto world, you might be able to, explore a little bit with smaller cap tokens. But for the majority of users, they will have never heard about it. They will probably mostly focus on the top 100. So this could really be one of those massive upward potential plays, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Definitely. Okay, since we're a bit short on time this week, we're going to jump straight into the next one. So for the next one, we got, I would call it a runner-up to the behemoth that we reviewed a couple of weeks ago, Binance. So next up, we got FTX. What
Hmm.
do you think? In
I
three,
don't,
2, 1.
I'm
Kinda like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of doing the same as Pietro, gradually upwards.
Yeah.
Pietro,
I
you
don't
keep.
know if anyone's ever called him a runner-up. I don't think Sam and the Almeida guys would appreciate that so much. But anyway, I'll
They're
let you.
gonna cancel our
I'm gonna
show.
explain my name calling on them as
You
we go.
better. Shoot, Petra.
After they hear us, they're gonna cancel our show if they hear us say runner up. No, of course, I completely understand what you mean, though. It's still a behemoth in itself. It's a massive exchange. The let's say developments they've had since launching have been incredible, and not only that, but you see their name all over the place. I mean, they're sponsoring all sorts of events, whether that be in, for example, Formula One, that I know Shane you're also very passionate about, and their name presence and just name recognition in the crypto space is massive in terms of price action, and that's why I went like that. I think some other tokens will have a way more interesting price action, but in terms of believing in the long-term success of the crypto space and in exchanges in that space, FTX will definitely be one of the let's say larger ones that will prevail in the space. But price action wise, uncertain whether I would want to hold the token or let's say sell it off to hold something else.
Yeah, that's a good summary. Listen, it's a proxy, right? The exchange is a proxy on the overall sentiment in the market. You will have higher beta names that, as this market moves up, will obviously trade better, and you will have lower beta names, which may be closer to stable coin returns, right? And FTX probably sits within that. Listen, you have an exchange which was set up quite recently in crypto times and has become at the forefront of what they do. Trade anywhere, anytime. They're backed by all the big boys like Multicoin Capital, Sequoia, Lightspeed. They're not going anywhere, and I think they will continue to do fine work. I must give a big shout out and respect to how they acted in the last 6 months with almost like acting like a JP Morgan or the lender of last resort. They stepped in and looked at a lot of projects. They put their money where their mouth is on a lot of stuff. So, respect, I suppose, in times of trouble, the golden rule is very much true. He who has all the gold makes all the rules. And they made some amazing purchases at some great prices. So, I like everything that they do, I think the token is a proxy on the overall sentiment. So let's see where it goes from here. But I'm bullish on the space, so I'm bullish on FTX.
Very well said. So why I call them the runner-up is because yes, they're behemoth in their own right. In the last 24 hours, they've did 1.5, nearly 1.6 billion in revenue. But compared to Binance, 22 billion in the last 24 hours. They, they have room to grow. As you mentioned, Shane and Pietro, great name recognition. They've really stepped up in the last 6 months as a lot of things were crashing in the crypto space. They really put their money where their mouth is. All the respect for them to that. I think they got some great leadership behind them. I think, yeah, if you're really looking at beta or to get good return in the short term, probably not the place to put your money right now. But definitely Binance, FTX, I'm not going to mention, but are two of the exchanges that I'm looking at holding for the long term because I think that they are going to be essential for this space going forward. And they're already put in a lot of effort and work behind what they're saying. So great projects.
Yeah, what's that?
Okay, so then we have another really, really interesting project, and that I think flies under a lot of people's radar. We got Lido Finance in 3, 2, 1. Cast your votes. Shit, that's a 4 thumbs up.
I've been super bullish on this for quite a while now. This is a liquid staking platform, and it's extremely, extremely interesting, especially in the connection with the staked ETH, right? So whilst the merge was upcoming, or the news was, let's say, released, and the upcoming merge is going to happen, Lido would allow you to stake on Ethereum 2.0, right? So you have staked ETH, and that became one of the biggest holdings, actually, of smart money, and one of the biggest holdings in general. If you look at Lido now, from the last figures that I checked, only MakerDAO as a protocol has more total value locked than Lido. And the token's price action in the last 3 or 4 months has outperformed pretty much a majority of other tokens in the top 200. It now sits in the, I think, top 60, top 70, has a lot more room to grow. And just I find it a fantastic project. I've been in it myself personally as well. I think it's a great holding position. I'm not sure how much higher it goes from here, because the rise has really been astronomical. But I still really firmly believe in it, especially with its association with the upcoming merge. And that's exactly why it's pushed up so far at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a staking solution for Ethereum, allows their users use their ETH. Great thing is you don't have any minimum deposits, or you don't have to maintain any of the infrastructure. And of course, you can be active with on-chain activities like lending, staking, to compound any type of results. So that's a very, very cool functionality. I've seen rapid growth in Lido. And also, I know that they're audited, which is really, really important for these type of products. They're audited by the best auditors in the space. In fact, one of them is QuantStamp. You guys have probably heard me talk about QuantStamp before. Full disclosure, I'm a very early investor into QuantStamp, but they have audited some of the big boys like Compound, Aave, and of course now Lido. What's really interesting as well is their validators that they continue to grow out as well. So yeah, it looks like rock solid from here. And I do agree it's run up quite a lot in price. I don't follow the price appreciation of Lido, but I definitely follow their growth and their build out. And it looks something very interesting for our community to keep an eye on, without a doubt. That's why I got thumbs up from me.
Amazing. And what I would say, when I look at Lido, I look at it as a business. So that's what I try to do at most times when I look at any token or any project. And if you're looking at Lido as a business from the numbers, they're actually the hidden behemoth in the space. Total revenue 23.7 million in the last 30 days, outperforming PancakeSwap. PS ratio of 7.3, PE ratio 73, both declining with 20 or upwards to 22% in the last 30 days. So they are having a decrease, which is what we want, in both PE and PS ratio. And they're raking in money. Yes, smart money has found it. They've moved in, they've adopted it. Retail, I don't think have. So when it comes to the price action, always hard. Once again, this is not financial advice in any way. This is just a couple of friends making guesses. Don't think retail is priced in yet. Think it's a really, really healthy, sustainable business that I see grow a lot in the mid to long term. Short term, yes, have been some fluctuation. I think a lot due to the ETH merge. But after the ETH merge is complete, I only see upturn for Lido Finance. For sure, really good project.
Get out your crystal ball there, Pietro. Get guessing.
But what's interesting here is also that if you run a survey with a lot of people with different levels of expertise or knowledge in the crypto space, and you ask them, do you know about FTX? Do you know about Lido? I think large majority will have at least heard of FTX, and they're similarly placed at the moment in terms of market cap. I mean, getting closer, let's say. Lido, I would tell you maybe less than 10% will have even heard about it, which makes it, again, same with Trader Joe, massive upward potential still, even as it's positioned now.
Absolutely.
And with good fundamentals. They have the numbers, they have the business model. It's not just an air castle. There's action coming through, which is very, very important and sometimes forgotten or overlooked. Last one of the day, we have Monero. There's a lot to say about this one, but 3, 2, 1. Okay, Pietro, take the lead.
Well, we're very consistent with our opinions this week. By the way, just so everyone knows, we do not agree or tell each other what we think beforehand. This is completely on the spot. which makes it very interesting. So Monero, I'm sideways for a couple of reasons. So the first is comparatively in terms of price action. I always like to compare, and if I look at other tokens in the space, it doesn't interest me as much. I like the use case. So I like the use case which is fully, let's say, fully not transparent, but fully secured transactions, right? So no one can see where I send my transaction to. It's fully privatized. But this is exactly what concerns me. So in a crypto world that is still probably heading towards some more regulation or some more areas of regulation in this space, I'm not sure how much a privacy-focused token like Monero can be affected by any medium to long-term future regulations that might come in the space. And therefore, personally, although the use case is very interesting because it's really the epitome of decentralization, right? Like no one can actually look at anything and it's fully private. I think it might get affected in the future. And that's why I'm sideways on it compared to others.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Monero was launched in 2014, so that was even before I got into crypto. Its goal is really simple: to allow transactions to take place privately and anonymously. And although I'm very much behind that way of thinking and that culture, I suppose as we move towards onboarding the next billion people and the tokenization of everything, I will be interested to see how that mandate can stay, because I think the powers that will want to certainly dig in from a regulatory standpoint on that. And Monero can be used, and I'm sure it's used for a lot of good. I'm sure also there could be bad actors that would use Monero, and I think it's really understanding the balance of that. And that really comes down to Monero itself. So for me, I'm very much behind the ethos of it. I'm just wondering how that will grow as the space grows, and what part it will play in that. But I wish all the team the very best, and I hope they find a way to stay relevant and decentralized, and maybe anonymous at the same time. So that's where I'm at.
Interesting. So what I'm a bit bearish on Monero is because I think essentially they've tapped the market that they have. Crypto early days was very much focused on the ideology about it. If you're looking at the classical marketing crossing the chasm, the early adopters are the ones that are really, really passionate about the core technology, what it enables. And I think Monero's market cap could actually have passed its all-time high. As we see more regulation go up, you tend to see a little bit of an upswing in privacy coins. I do want to remember people, or I do want to highlight to people that might find that aspect of Monero appealing, that do your research, because you might need an on-ramp and an off-ramp to stay completely anonymous if that is your goal. Haven't done it myself, just sharing the information. But yeah, so why I'm negative on it is because I think it's going to be hard for it to find a higher all-time high, seeing that I think that the market that it's targeting is the early adopters, and I think we are now as a space moving into the later stages of the marketing cycle, or we're getting closer to crossing the chasm, and I don't think there's going to be as many hardcore crypto evangelists to convert as we move further into market adoption. So that is my sentiment on it. Thank you. That is all for this week. I'm not going to hold you any longer. Thank you both so much for valuable insights from your respective fields. It's a pleasure to do this. See you again next week.
Let's wrap this up. I think someone's got to go into baby changing mode and get those bottles ready. Good luck with that.
Good luck. Good luck and enjoy. So much.
Anita, just to let you know, we let you off this week because I know you haven't had much sleep in the last few days. But next week we're coming back hard, man.